Episode 7 of Maestra, Strings of Truth, begins with Seum finally having a tearful reunion with her mother before she gets an attack. She calls the nurse even though her mother begs her not to. It cuts to Younghwa's funeral where Seum plays the violin. She thinks back to her time with her mom. The day she tried to drown was when her mother was diagnosed with Remington's disease. Jung-jae watches Seum from afar. Despite the mourning, Seum returns to work. She is surprised when Sang-doo reveals that Jung-jae took care of the damages. Meanwhile, the chairs gossip as Younghwa was Seum's age when she was diagnosed. They also wonder why Ajin and Phil didn't show up at the funeral. Yoseop sees Ajin taking iron supplements and worries. Phil's upcoming gig is cancelled and he thinks Jung-jae is responsible. URA shows up, but he simply apologizes as he cannot sway Seum. However, she is furious and decides to take vengeance twofold for ruining her documentary. At work, Seum shocks everyone by announcing a blind performance review. No one takes it seriously at first, but they sneak off to practice. Ajin thinks Seum is doing it to get rid of her, but the conductor points out that if she is skilled, she will be fine. Elsewhere, Bonju finds his secret stash. He then gets a text from someone that Jung-jae probably took over Hanfil for Seum, who is his ex. He decides to pay back Jung-jae by messing with her. At the performance review, Seum calls Jung-jae to judge and also thanks him for taking care of the studio. He banters and she smiles momentarily before the rest arrive. Outside, Taeho wishes Runa good luck. In the aftermath, Seum fires 2 permanent chairs, Oh Min-jun and Young Soo-hyun. Annoyed, they party at a club, but cops show up and arrest them for drugs. They then show up at Hanfil and raid Seum's office. They find drugs and Detective Chu Dong-sik gleefully arrests her. During interrogation, Min-jun and Soo-hyun claim they got the drugs from her. Jung-jae tries to help by sending a lawyer and talking to the inspector. It doesn't go anywhere till Runa tells him that she saw a masked delivery boy leave Seum's office during the review. They realize it is Bonju. It cuts to Bonju planting the drugs on all 3 before calling the cops. He then tells the boys that Seum called the cops on them, which is why they agree to give false testimony. Detective Chu seems to have a personal vendetta as it is revealed that he took the case regarding Ajin's accident and the drug case from some other detective. However, Seum is relaxed as she composes while waiting. She also guesses that the 2 boys were taking drugs due to their irregular breathing from before she came to Hanfil, which the drug tests will verify. Furthermore, a witness shows up and declares that Bonju planned it all. Seum is freed and Jung-jae meets her outside. Turns out, he found the witness. Bonju calling the cops closed down the witness club, which is why he readily testifies. Jung-jae takes Seum home and Phil watches from afar. However, Bonju isn't done. He leaves flowers to druggy Seum outside Hanfil and posts photos on social media. Jung-jae's team finds it hard to take down every post. Annoyed, he tells KVN to report that Assemblyman Kim's son Bonju is behind it all and is a drug addict. The chairs don't come to work and Sang-doo decides that they need to take a break till things settle down before they regroup. Seum tries to refuse, but Sang-doo puts his foot down. A frustrated Seum drinks alone. Bonju suddenly calls her to meet at Hanfil. It cuts to her waking up in her office. Her shoes are dirty and she doesn't remember anything. Detective Chu calls her as Bonju is dead. At the end of Maestra, Strings of Truth Episode 7, Seum's hand is covered in blood. The episode review. Even though he is annoying, Bonju is pretty clever as evident in Maestra, Strings of Truth Episode 7. He knows Jung-jae can control the news, so he messes with Seum on social media. But then we have Jung-jae. He wants to protect Seum so much that he even breaks his ties with an assemblyman. The second half of the K-drama kicks off pretty brilliantly, if we say so. The first half has bizarre ongoings at Hanfil, which may all be because of Seum joining. However, it isn't enough to keep the show running, especially for 12 episodes. But it looks like the writers had something bigger planned as they revealed it in a satisfying way. Maestra, Strings of Truth goes from a musical melodrama to a straight-up murder mystery. We wonder if it is Seum who killed Bonju, though it would be too easy if it was her. Even if it is her, there is the suspense of what is her true motive. Hatred isn't enough for her, as we see her barely reacting to Phil and Jean, who thinks the whole world is out to get her. It could either be that Seum was drunk or due to Remington's disease if she does turn out to be the murderer.